Good evening and welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines Slot Cars here at Two Line Speedway. And happy early New Year's Eve. Hopefully everyone has a safe holiday planned. Hopefully everybody had a great Christmas. Last week's live stream was great. I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else did. And they had a great Christmas. I had a lot of feedback. Like a lot of guys were saying, man, that was just a great show. And it was fun because I got to bring in a bunch of people. And there were some that couldn't make it. But it was good. It was great. So thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here tonight. I know it's a busy time of the year. I don't expect a ton of people on tonight, but we'll see. We'll see who shows up. Don't really have anything planned outside of just talking some slot cars. So we'll see what the chat wants to do. I thought maybe we would talk a little bit about the slot car of the year. Harry put out a list of 10 cars, and I saw where Warren added one to the mix. I'm not sure if he meant to do that or not, but I think that's a good list. And just curious about what the chatter is for the slot car of the year. We had a lot of good choices. There's a lot of great cars that started shipping in 2025. And I thought maybe I would point out my favorite slot cars of 2025. Yeah. So maybe we'll go through that. And then we'll see where we need to go. So let's see who all's in the chat. Brandon is in the house. Ben is here. Good evening, Ben. Chris, thanks for being here. Vince, great to see you again. Glad you're here. I'm glad you guys choose to spend Tuesday nights here in the live chat. That means a whole lot. So I was just running a few projects I've got going on, but I was just running a few laps on the track because I thought maybe I'd run some laps tonight, but I don't know. We'll see. I do have a project. I actually have a couple projects. Yeah, I got paint colors picked out for a couple of VW projects. So I'm working on that. It's just too cold to paint right now. It is 21 degrees in Chillicothe at the moment, with the wind blowing pretty good again. I don't know if anybody saw the news, but Lake Erie, like 8 feet of the water from the west side of the lake is all on the east side of the lake because of the wind the last 3 days. And so there are people out walking on the dry lake bed on the east side near Toledo. It's crazy to think that I've never seen anything like that happen. I guess thanks to the internet, I'm sure it's happened many, many times, but, just got a thumbs down. Troy, thanks. Oh, it was a mistake. Thanks. I don't mean to call you out. Oh, George just sent me a message, said that he is testing the digital chassis, which is awesome. Oh, my other project, testing the digital chassis. Actually, yes. I do have a digital chassis that I printed off, and right here is the project car that it needs to go into. So maybe, I guess we could swap that out tonight. I could put a chip in it. I could pull a Carrera chip, and we could potentially test that. So, George says your other project. Thanks, George. But yeah, man, I printed that out. Dave sent it to me. I don't think this is the latest version, though. I think this was the first digital version. I think he's done some different, but this is the pod setup that I have. So this should just mount straight into this. Since I've got it out, this is one of my slot cars of the year. George just texted me. That is the wrong chassis. But it is the motor pod that I have, right? Because it changed. The motor pod changed too. I guess you could send that to me and I could print those out. It probably wouldn't take very long. But since we're at it, the other one he sent is the new one. Got it. Okay. But this is one of my favorite cars of 2025, and this is the 3A 3D printed late model in the Two Lions livery. I love the livery of this car. I think it turned out great, except for the numbers aren't big enough, which you've heard me complain about. I didn't get the size of those numbers correct. They needed to be much bigger, about 20% bigger. But this is one of my favorite cars. I love this car, and it's in my list of slot car of the year. But I don't do that out of respect for Harry and Home Racing World. The slot car of the year, that is a prize that he gives away, and I voted for what I thought my favorite slot car of 2025 is. But for my own personal favorite cars of the year, I won't call them the slot cars of the year, is this 3A 3D printed car. This is a fun drive. It's great on the oval. It works better than I expected. It works great on the track back here. I still have the Paul Gage tires on it. I do have a set of super tires that I put on this, and it performs really, really well. And I love it. It's fun. So we will be testing that digital chip for those guys. And so I'll get that chassis printed, and we'll get it out there. But Troy, man, thanks. Troy posted, if you guys are into 3D printing, Troy posted some great stuff that you can print for the box, the pit box that everybody's buying, the Power Hobbies box. And I don't have one, but my brother does, and he's been printing. Daniel has one. Greg, I think there's a bunch of guys that have them. And he sent me a link to printables out there where he's posted all of those files. So he's got some great trays for your cars to put in that, and some other things, which I think is really, really cool. And so I know Alex has been working on some stuff. Daniel's been working on some stuff. My brother Dusty's been working on some stuff for that Power Hobbies box. But go out there and check Troy's stuff out. It's really, really good. Jay Johnson, welcome. Thanks for being here. Gladstone is in the house. Shotgun Dave I called Dave on my way home from work tonight and had a great conversation with Dave. I'm always excited to talk to Dave. But I told him, is it bad that Slotted posted? So you guys know I have the Polycar track, and I've got 2 turns that I'm missing a few borders, and I just haven't ordered them. And mainly because I hate spending money on borders, because you spend the money and it makes an impact, but it's not, it's just a border. You snap it in and you're done. And anyway, I had the guys that were here for the 6-hour race. They know that I had 2 turns that I don't have borders for. Well, they released an R3 printable, 3D printed border, but I need an entire R2 border for Polycar. And so I'm thinking about like 3D printing that, because the 3D printed file from Polycar, from Slotted, for the R3 was a half piece of R3. So I needed 2 pieces of R3. And when you buy it, you get like 6. So, but it was a half piece. So I printed 4 of them, and it works perfect. Maybe I'll go grab one off the track. I snapped them in. They worked great. And then they also released, this was back on December, I think 18th or 15th. They released these files on the website, and then you can make R4, R5, R6 half pieces. And then you can buy a spring rail kit from Slotted Polycar and make your own track pieces. So if you have, you want a wider turn, an R6 turn, Polycar's never going to make that track, but they made the 3D printed files available, which I think is brilliant. See what I did there? I think is awesome. And I thought that was very generous of them to put that out there. And then they sell the kit for spring rail that you can install yourself and make track pieces. Now, you're not going to build a whole track like this. I don't think it's cost effective. But if you needed a couple of pieces to make a track fit together, to make the geometry work, then you could do this. You could print out these files. They print really well. Even the texture is really close to what actual Polycar texture is. I'm so surprised, like running my fingers over with my eyes closed. I don't think I could tell the difference. Yeah, they worked out really well. So now I need R2s. So I'm trying to learn Blender a little better and get better at that. And I figure I'll probably try to, maybe later tonight, try to design that R2 turn and make some 3D printed borders for the Polycar track. And maybe that's bad. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But man, I already have enough money in that Polycar track. I hate to, I don't need, the weird number of pieces that I need means I have to like buy 4 sets to use 3 and 3.5 of them. And so, or whatever. So anyway, I should probably just order them off of Oliver and be done with it. If he has them. I don't know. Polycar stuff is getting tough to find here in the States. Brandon, say some more hellos. George, good evening. George, thanks for the text messages. I appreciate it. Freighter is in the house. Chris is working on his new basement, putting his first track up in his basement, permanent, inside. No longer has to be outside in the summer. So Chris, hopefully you're enjoying that. Jay says, hey, sad to see Tom Thumb close. Yeah, man, it was tough. I don't know what happened to that track. I really wanted to buy that track. I just don't have a place for that track. And I don't think that it ended up, I think it's in a storage unit someplace, and it'll probably have to be restored now because it's probably been out in the, in the heat and the cold. And I don't know what kind of shape it's in, but when it was packed away, it was still in great shape. Tom Thumb took really good care of it, but yeah, makes me sad. You guys know my dream is to open up a club here in Chillicothe at some point, and that would have been a great track to have. Although I'd rather have a flat track, but the Blue King is a cool track, no doubt. If I had that, I'd have to start running some flexies, I think, and get into that. Let's see, who else do we have? Drummer Boy 67. Now it's time for a couple of good controllers. Glad Marty's been sharing info on controllers. Thanks. I have more information to release. I've been recording a controller shootout video, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not super happy with my content with it. I feel like I'm kind of rambling through it. And my last video was kind of the epitome of my rambling. I think the holidays, I think I was just exhausted. I said the word brilliant over and over and over again. Thanks, Ray Lego. Not for the word brilliant, but for the tech tip. I had some guys give me a hard time about that, and I thought that was hilarious. It's just, lots of people clean tires a different way, and people are like, there's no way that cleans your whole track. I'm telling you, I run 10 laps with that, and my track's pretty clean all the way around. So good stuff. But yeah, I do have some controller videos coming out. I'm probably going to reshoot a few of them. It's probably going to be multiple videos because, right now it's like an hour and a half. I'm talking about like 6 different controllers, which is crazy. And Ian Douglas told me he would ship me the plus one controller. And so that should be added to that. So it just keeps growing. And I think that's probably way too long for people. So I'm going to have to either downsize that or release them as individual videos. But I would expect to see them. They're probably going to be my first 4 or 5 videos of 2026 would be my guess. Another project I'm working on, not to put this all up front, but is Oliver from Professor Motor sent me a 2-lane DS hardware, not the bridge, but just the timing sensors, so that I can test to make sure that those sensors work with an Arduino, which will work with FastLapse as we prepare for the AMSCO race. So I'm doing some testing for that and testing of FastLapse to make sure that that program is going to be rock solid for that race. I love what FastLapse gives me, in the live stream. I don't know if that is actually on right now or not. Let me see if it's actually broadcasting it. I don't think so. So you can see the screen, but I'm working on testing those sensors. And so I got some plugs for that today that they showed up. They weren't supposed to be here till tomorrow, but they showed up today. Thank you, Amazon. So that I can create a wiring harness so it's plug and play, nice and easy. And if it works, that I think is a very super stable, very consistent timing sensor that could be plug and play. And so I have some ideas. If the DS sensors work with their wiring harness, I'm looking at possibly making a 3D printed box to put an Arduino in and some plugs in so that you can DS directly into the Arduino box that I make, so that we can have a plug and play timing system that works with FastLapse. So I'm doing some testing possibly to do that. That would just be for my own use, but I could see where guys wanting to run FastLapse. I think Patrick is working on a timing system that works with FastLapse that he will potentially have available. I don't know. He's talked about one that he built, I guess. I can't speak for him, but I know he has some ideas, and I wouldn't want to, bump into anybody else if that's something that he plans to do or if somebody else plans to do, because I really don't have time to do something like that. But for my own use and for some content, I'll be doing some testing of those sensors. So expect that in the next week or so. All right. Good evening, John Tucci. Hey, Ron, so fast. Hank Stringer. So Hank the Crank has a great logo and stickers. Steve, I got your message. I'll send you my logo. I think that's what you were asking for, Steve Holzman, if you're in the chat. I'll send that out to you tonight. But Hank the Crank, I sent me a t-shirt, and it's a great looking t-shirt because he's got a great looking logo. Merry Christmas. I hope you all enjoyed the meaning for the season. But thanks for sending me that. I actually wore it yesterday, and I didn't think about it. I'm like, oh, I should have wore it tonight. But it's really cold in the basement tonight, so I'm sweatered up. So it wouldn't have mattered. You wouldn't have seen it. But yeah, Hank, thanks for sending that to me. I got your sticker on my pit box. And then another thing that happened today is our friend Ryan at PNW. He won the Super Tires car last week, which I think is awesome because he's a big Carrera guy, and I'm just happy that Ryan won that. And I got a great card from him, a thank you card in the mail today with a sticker. And Ryan, man, thanks. You didn't need to do that. Hopefully your car shows up soon. Maybe you've already got it. I don't know. But yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Farver Rules. Hey, I'm new here and have not run slot cars since 2005 when all the places to go phased out in Central Ohio. So, man, okay, you're in Central Ohio. I'm in Southeast Ohio, South Central Ohio, probably more like it, in Chillicothe. So you're not that far from me. But yeah, you're right. We have lost some places here in Ohio. But just so you know, if you go check out the AMSCO 132nd scale racing website, you'll find out about a race that's happening late this spring in Lodi, which is not far from you. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Would love to connect. Maybe I can help you track down some tracks to come to go race on. Let me know. Hey, Ernest. Thanks for joining. John Tucci's in the house. Brandon out in Durango. Brandon, my kids are still here. Well, at least my oldest daughter and her husband. They head back to Fort Collins soon. So, Chris, hat tonight. Hopefully nobody lost any money on that. Chris did a shout out to Super Tires. I haven't even made it to there's Steve. Welcome, Steve Swatel. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Christmas. Jerry is in the house. Hey, Jerry. Yeah, man. I just had some Death Wish coffee. I should be awake for hours. I just had some roast coffee. We had dinner at a local barbecue place, and roast is in between the barbecue place and my house. So I had to walk right by, and I just couldn't help myself. I grabbed some coffee. Last two lines of 2025, John. It's been a great year. We've lost some friends this year in the hobby, and my heart goes out to those friends and family. Our friend Butch, I know there was a post that in one of the Facebook groups, maybe the Home Racing World, that it was Tom posted in Slot Car Misfits that we lost another brother the last few days. And so, it's a tough time, for loss and during the holidays. So just my heart goes out to those who've lost friends in the hobby and family members. So hang in there. But all in all, 2025 has been great. It's been great for this channel. I think it's been great for the hobby. So we'll see what we can get into. Great Northern 706. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Robert. Happy New Year. PNW, and we're back. Hey, Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. Thanks for the card. Yeah, Vince, Happy New Year to you. Appreciate you. Hey, Chris Holmes. Slot Cars Are Us. Chris, thanks for tuning in. 94. Coach K, Royals, good evening. I see Charlie Brown in your picture. My buddy Wes, I work with. Great dude. Drew me as a Charlie Brown character and sent me kind of a Christmas card. Hey, Mark Bondi. And I posted it on my Facebook page. He did a great job. He's a great cartoonist. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Bradley. Thanks for being here. What else do we have? Braden. Thanks for tuning in, Braden. Hello. Hey, Rob. What's going on, man? Tycho Matt, Happy New Year from the Canadian contingent. Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys, too. Hey, Terry. Man, we got a bunch of people in. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Dale. Hey, Jay. Glad you're here. West Coast, what's up? Steve Holzman, how's it going, guys? 3D printing. Steve, I sent out today your trigger. We're going to get the +1 2-finger trigger. We're going to nail it this time, I think. Let's hope. Since I don't have the controller here to test, I'm sending triggers to Steve, and then we discover when he installs it, there's a problem. So, but this week, I think I fixed your problem. I think you should be good to go. Thanks for being patient with me. Chris, question. Marty, if I can't get you to come out here, will you, if I have a race with you in Ohio? Chris, where are you located? Where are you trying to get me? California? Are you out in California? Man, I need to do a tour, don't I? And how do I explain that to my wife? Honey, I'm going on a tour across the country from slot car track to slot car track. And I'm going to be gone. It's going to take me like 3 weeks. I don't think I would fly. Plus, I would need an RV to do that, I think. That sounds like a great road trip. I'll put it on the map. Chris, let me know where you're at. I'll put it on the tour. But man, if you come to the AMSCO race, another plug for the AMSCO guys. You come to that race in Lodi at Norcar, go to the website. If one of the moderators wants to put the link to the race website, that would be awesome. Feel free to do that. We could race there. You'd be racing in Ohio. Hey, Tycho Matt. Southern Yankee Speedway. What's up? Jayaj Boots. Sorry, Marty, fat thumbs. Well, I have the same problems. I have the same problems. Or I get stuck on a word like brilliant and I say it 10 times in a video. And I was editing that video, and after the third time I said it, I'm like, I don't remember saying it that many times. But I've got to make fun of myself. I'm not going to edit it out. I'm just going to leave them in because I could have easily edited out all of them. And I'm like, nope, we're just going to do a brilliant counter. Okay, what else do we have? Jay, I see a 3D printer in my immediate future. Jay, I'm telling you what, I never thought that I would use a 3D printer until you have one. And then you start dreaming up things to print with it. Not going to lie. Hey, Bryce, good evening. Good evening. My favorite of the year is the Chappie. I should have known the 2F. Thanks to Shotgun Dude. Yeah, man. John, that is a great car. And obviously you got it running great. So now I'm getting to my question. Trying to learn all I can. The new cars. All I have raced is JK cars. Okay. So 1/32 scale is new to you. If you need some recommendations, let us know. But we'll probably talk about it. The goose is loose. Or is that the duck? The duck is loose. The goose is loose. Matt, favorite car of the year is the Chaparral 2J. Thanks to Shotgun Dave. Sean says, it's a bit of a different animal. Just take your time and keep learning. Yeah, man, I agree. 1/32 scale. I've not raced a lot of 1/24 scale. I've not definitely raced that type of car, the JK stuff or the flexi chassis or anything like that. I don't know anything about tuning them. I don't know anything about it. It's probably a rabbit hole I'll go down eventually. Some guys, Steve and Josh, went to a great place in Kentucky that has like 4 tracks and a drag strip, and they had some great tracks. And so I imagine I'll make a trip down there one day and we'll have to have something to run on it. So I'm really curious. But yeah, man, if you got questions, throw some questions out. Chris asks, this is Steve Sweeney on my phone. I'm appearing as Christine. Got it. Oh, Steve, thanks. I was wondering. So Steve, yes, we're coming to Ohio. You and Christine are coming. We'll race. That for sure. That was the confusing part. What is happening? That's great. Polycar track is so nice. The surface is way different than my other tracks. I would agree. I would tell you, I spent a little bit of time on my Polycar track the other night. I haven't raced on it for a bit, to be honest with you. Mainly, I don't have timing set up. I'm sharing a timing computer, and so I got to stretch a USB cable across the room and plug it in, and it's easy enough to do, but I just haven't. But I was running some laps on it the other night because I was testing whether the water the cleaner, the tire cleaner on the track surface would work on the Polycar, and it does for a minute. But as soon as it starts to dry out, it kind of settles into the texture of the track, and the tires really don't pick it up. So unless you really flood the track, which I don't recommend, that's the only way it works on Polycar, but it works great on Carrera. And I imagine it would work great on a wood track that's a smooth surface. If for those of you who have watched my video from this past weekend. My kids are getting back into it. That's great. It's a fun thing to do with the kids. Hey, Frank. Crap, let me try this again. My favorite car of the year is the Chappie 2J, thanks to Shotgun Dave. And it keeps auto-correcting you to dude. That's awesome. Great to hear that there are kids who are into it. I got my wood track from a guy who built it for his grandkids, and they ran like 4 times on it. Sometimes that happens. You know, like my nephews for Christmas, well, at Thanksgiving, I hooked them up with some track, and they put it together on their pool table at home. And then they got some expansion track for it for Christmas and some new cars. And they are addicted. They are really, they're really having fun with it. And so I'm glad that they are. But so many times, and like sometimes there's not instant gratification with slot cars unless you enjoy wrecking, right? But I could see where if it's not perfect right off the bat, they might get a little frustrated. And so I think that's where having a mentor that kind of helps them through is a big thing. So, but my nephews, they're having some fun. It's Carrera Go, but they're enjoying it and having some fun. That makes me like really enjoy it. And normally on Christmas we would race, but we just there was so much going on with the family that we didn't make it down here. And then they got a 3D printer. One of my nephews got Asa got a 3D printer. And so we hooked him up with some filament so that he could make some prints. And I'm sure he's printing like lots of fidget toys. But James, good evening. Illinois-Tennessee game going down to the wire. Oh, that's what channel is that on? I was looking for games earlier before and I didn't find it. Guys are always willing to swap out stuff, Marty, for something you need. Yeah, this is true. Here's a link to my Pitbox files. It probably didn't come through, Troy. It probably didn't allow you to. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll post it. Troy, you need a Marty to make you an admin to share the files. Yeah, you have to be a moderator to share links. I'll get the link out there. So what else do we got? Tom Thumb was one of the oldest raceways in the country, along with Buzzarama. Yeah, Tom Thumb closed a couple of years ago. I think somebody bought the land that the building was on. If I'm not mistaken, they tore it down. Hey, Marty, I have $2K to start in the hobby. What do you recommend? Buy sets. All right, Michael. This is a great question. That's a lot of money to drop. One, I don't know how much space you have. Two, buying sets is a great way to get some cars and a bunch of track but you end up with a bunch of R1 turns. And I think what you want is a good mixture of R1s, R2s, R3s, and R4s if you're going with Carrera. If you're short on space, obviously 2-lane. If you want digital versus analog, I think you've got choices. I think with digital, if you're in the United States, Carrera is probably your best bet, because you've got Carrera and you've got Skillectric. Both of those digital systems are really good. I think there are some more things available for Carrera than Skillectric. But if you're tight on space, the Skillectric might be better if you want to go digital. If you want to go analog, 2 lanes is great. If you got space, 4 lanes is even better. It depends on, how many people you think you'll have enjoying your track. I've got a 4-lane. Most of the time it's just 2 of us, sometimes 3 of us. And then I'll host a race and I'll have, 12 guys here. So the 4-lane is great. I love a 4-lane track because it gives you options. And when I'm practicing, I can practice on the inside lane because I don't have a bridge and it's the short way around, but it's tighter turns. I can move to the outside, much longer way around. It's like almost 10 feet longer. Blue lane versus yellow lane. My blue lane's the outside lane, yellow lane's the inside lane. So it really is where you want to go. So, but you've got that. If you're going straight analog, Polycar is great if you can find it. But you'll want some cars as well. And so I think in that amount of money, you can buy a nice selection of cars. Carrera cars are great to start out with, especially on digital. They just hold up well. They run just fine. But you'll need some other things. So out of that $2,000, you might think about a soldering iron if you don't already have one. You might think about some spare parts, depending on what kind of cars you get. A setup block, which if you got 3D printing available, maybe you want some scenery. Maybe you enjoy that part of the hobby. So $2,000 is a lot. You could go online and find quite a bit of track, plastic track, for under that, and get into a decent size layout right off the bat. Yeah, gosh, I don't know. Anybody else have some recommendations? I think you've got, with that kind of budget, you can go so many different ways. But I think first you need to, how much space do you have? That's going to determine how much track you need. You could buy a couple sets, which would give you some straights, but it will give you a lot of the same turn radiuses. Most of the sets, especially the Carrera sets, they're all R1 turns. If you want some different turn radiuses, you've got 4 radius options with Carrera. You've got 6 radius options with Polycar, but radius 5 and radius 6, you have to 3D print those yourself. But I would think that with that budget, you could get yourself into a great starter set, some 1/32 scale cars from a few different brands. You can get, an upgraded controller or 2, especially if you go analog. I think that those are some of the things that you should probably think about in that kind of budget. You really, with up to $2,000 to spend, I don't want to say sky's the limit, because it's not, but you can, for less than that, you can have a great setup. But understand that, if you're going to do analog, you really probably need to look at borders, at least outside borders on your track. If you're going to run no magnet, for sure. So there's lots of things you have to think about. Hopefully I touched on some of them. If you want to chat more, Michael, send me a direct message. My email address is in my channel description, and I would love to to chat with that. Hey, Ron, does anyone have a sheet of the Scale Auto R Series wheelbases for the AMSCO legal cars? Ooh, I'll ask. I'll let one of the AMSCO guys, Steve or Greg, speak to that, because I don't know if they have it broke down by wheelbase. I mean, I do know that they have it, like the list of cars that are eligible, I think. Hey, Marty, I was wondering if I can get a sticker from you. I don't have no fancy slot car name or nothing like that. Frank, I need to order stickers. I've been slow to get that done. I owe a handful of guys stickers. So, tomorrow I will. There's a print shop like 2 blocks from my house. They did my stickers the last time. They did an awesome job. They were a little pricey, but I was really happy with the quality of them. A lot of guys thought my sticker was too big, so maybe I'll order some smaller ones this time. But Frank, I'll hook you up. If you send me an email at thet5guy@gmail.com, it's in the channel description, and give me your address, I'll get them made and sent out to you. I think they told me they would have stickers for me in like 5 days or something as soon as I placed the order. What would some keywords to search for the files? Oh, Jerry's looking for the files. So back to the Ron. If you go to the rules on the AMSCO site, you will get the list of cars that are available, I believe. The rules state that the tires just need to be under the body. If you're asking how wide the track can be, so you can't see the tires from looking straight down. And then you can always send a message to the AMSCO email address, and they can answer questions directly. But Ron, that you're not far from that race, so that's cool. I hope we get to race again. Marty, your track cleaning video was brilliant. I tried it and it works. Keep those videos coming. Heck with the naysayers. So nobody was giving me like that big of a hard time about it. They were just like, I'm not buying it that it really cleans your track, the whole track. And I can't explain it, but cleaning that tire every time around just seems to work the dirt and debris out of that lane. Now, of course, that dirt and debris has got to move someplace. And so what I would recommend is like wiping down your track if you're wanting to run a clean track, and then doing that. And what Ray Lego explained is they do that for their nationals race that he hosts at Slot Boys, and that they do that, and they usually refresh that at the beginning of every heat, and it cuts down on all the tire cleaning that has to happen and people rushing around and trying to get their tires clean in between heats. They just know that wet tire is going to be available at the beginning of each heat, and they just hit the track. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. My template's laying over here. For those of you who did not see my video, what Marty is referring to is this template that I made, and this snaps on where you see this tape are magnets, and it snaps on the track, and then you miss the track, or you miss this template with your cleaning solution, whether it's like, some people do Windex, some people do Simple Green if you're running silicone tires on Carrera track. And then some people do, some other like mixtures of like half Windex, half alcohol, so that it evaporates a little faster off the tire. But you just miss the track, pull the template up, and your rails are dry. You just have these little puddles of your tire solution. And then you run the car through it, and it cleans your tires each time around for the first, 10 laps or so. And then it dries off and the track's clean. And it's great. Hey, Hillbilly, what's up, everybody? I'm in the truck, but I'm listening. Well, thanks for tuning in, man. Be safe if you're driving. Let's see, 88 people in the chat. Thanks. Yep, we got 93. Oh, Farver Rules, you are in Lancaster. I actually work for Kingston National Bank. We have a branch in Amanda. So I am not far from you. When I was a kid, I grew up going to the River Valley Mall because I lived in Kingston. I grew up in Kingston, and that was the closest mall to us. And so, yeah. Hey, Dusty. My brother is in the house. Thanks for tuning in. My parents got me a BMW M1 Pro car for my Carrera digital track. I told them I can no longer say that they've never bought me a BMW. That's great. I was actually, you digital guys would be proud of me. I did my video, put this is now a digital car, and I ran a bunch of laps with it in digital mode. And those chips work great. So Michael, I live in Arizona. I can't find anyone here to race with. Okay, so if you probably won't have a bunch of people to race with you at your place, then a two lane, I would say start simple and build up to it, right? So, yeah, you don't have to get in a hurry to have a gigantic track, but you've got a budget to build a really great track for that. And I don't think that you'll have to spend half of that to have a decent sized track, but it depends on how big your table is. You will have to build a table if you don't already have some accommodations for that. So you've got some money involved there. My table is 8'6" wide by 24 feet long. And that's a good size 4-lane. It's 94 feet, 6 inches, I think. The longest lane and the shortest lane is about 87 feet, 86 feet. It's almost 10 feet shorter. So you got lots of options. Thanks, Steve. HRW chassis and related stuff in stock. Yeah. Hey, John Mark Hall. Good evening. John Mark needs to get over here and run some laps. It's been a while. I don't know if he still knows how to work a controller. He said he was in Lancaster, Chris. I know I'm late. Hey, Lucifer. Welcome. Hey, Bill. Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. John, what's up? John's got some great tracks. He's turned into a wood track guy. Hey, Dickie. Thanks for tuning in. Have a happy New Year. Hope you and your wife had a great Christmas. Jason, I got a Facebook invite from you, and I felt like we were already Facebook friends. So you didn't get somebody didn't create a fake account, did they? Order my first NSR and Scale Auto. Hope to make the AMSCO event. Nice. Okay. Looking for a DeFalco controller now. Well, if any of you have a DeFalco that you want to sell, there you go. We can make that deal happen. But they're very reasonably priced. I would recommend the DD302. I think the 304 has that advanced braking circuit, and the guys that have that really like it. But you don't have to go that far. I think the 302 is phenomenal. It's a great controller. But I think you'll enjoy anything you end up with. Steve Holzman, do you have a vector file of the AMSCO logo? I don't know if they've got a vector. I think that they've got a pretty clean JPEG that we could turn into a vector. George, I'll see if I've got it. I think they've sent it to me. Richard has a question. Has anyone used AI to help design a track? I have Polycar Track, and as far as I know, there is no track design software for that. This group has the ability. So, Richard, I would agree. There is no free track design software like there is for Carrera for Polycar, and that's frustrating to me. But there is a track. Let me see. There is a lap timing program out there that actually has track design software built into it. Ultimate Racer, I think, is what it's called. I can't seem to find the download for that. The downloads that I find look like they're on sketchy websites, and I don't trust them to download it. And that's the only one that seems to be that's possibly free or maybe close to free. Now, there is a railroad modeling software that I've downloaded that actually has a Polycar track, but I've not paid for the full version. It limits you to 50 pieces. So, and I think it's called Railroad Modeler. It has an iPad app as well. But then there's a Mac for the Mac. I found that for the Mac. And I think there's a Windows version too, potentially. But I've seen that. And so Ultimate Racer and then the Railroad Modeler are the two programs I know that have files for Polycar track. So you might go that direction, Richard. I've not asked AI to design a track. I don't know if it has the information that it needs for Polycar out there. It probably could probably build a Carrera track, potentially, but who knows like what that would look like. But I guess it's worth the try, right? So maybe I'll play with that, Richard, and get back with you on that. I want to build one of those fancy Todd Land barge chassis. Yeah, the land barge stuff is fun. Hey, Todd. Hey, Marty, my wife just heard you and said if I said that to her, she would say, "See you, have fun." I heard me say what? I don't know what I was what that's referring to, Jason. We didn't notice brilliant, Marty. I know, Greg. Thanks. It was you know how you get stuck on a word? I don't know how that happened. I don't. And then I got to the end, I was editing, and I'm like, what in the world? Yeah. I don't think you guys mind it when I poke fun at myself. So Chris says, I have Scale Auto in order for the AMSCO race, another Porsche in my future. Nice. I can't decide what car I want, Chris. That's why I've kind of drug my feet. I need to order the Scale Auto. I need to get that car prepped and ready early. Have you tried a Google search for Polycar Track Planner? There's a couple forum links that point to a planner, but it's not free. Yeah, that's Dickie. That's what I found as well. I just started designing. I had a bunch of track with the Polycar, and I just started designing. I just started putting it together. And the problem with that, I've got a video about that, Richard. It took me like 4 tries to get the track where I wanted it, and it's still not what I want. I'm limited by the space at my table with a 4-lane. I should have probably built a 2-lane. We'll see. It might change. One of the other things I thought about doing is building it on top of my Carrera temporarily as a 2-lane so I could get a little longer track. That still could happen. But now that I got the 4-lane, I'm enjoying that layout. I hate to take it apart, but we'll see. Let's see. Hey, Freder, what did you order? I'm thinking of trying a Scale Auto. I've driven a couple of the Scale Autos. I've got 2 hypercars, and they're good. They're just almost too fast for this track. Yeah. Hey, Daryl. Good evening. Hope you're doing well, Daryl. Thanks for tuning in. It's good to chat the other night. Hope you had a great Christmas, you and Barb. Sorry, just got to that house from being in the middle of Ocala Forest where there was no service trying to watch. Hey, Ernest, no worries, man. Thanks for tuning in. Chris ordered the Porsche 911, the Brumos livery. Nice. Dennis, what's up? Greg is in the chat and he's happy that Chris ordered that. Brandon used to camp in Ocala. I drove through Ocala back in October. Check out Polycar 4-lane sets. Doesn't come with cars, but you get a lot of track, which you can change to 2 lanes. And the other thing, Dickie, that's a great thing. If you want to go analog, I definitely like the Polycar. You can put a little more track in a smaller space with Polycar. And if you can find one of the 4-lane sets and make it 2-lane, you do get some borders with that. And so in that 4-lane set, you would get inside R1 borders. No. You would get, what do you have? R2s and R3s in that? Or R1s? It depends on which one you get. But you would have some outside borders and some inside borders for your turns, even with 2-lane. So it's actually a great way to go. But those starter sets are, $350 and $500, I think. I have one of each, which made a pretty decent size set. So I'm almost forgot what day it was, but here it sucks getting on. It's all right, Gary. You're amongst friends. Hey, Das. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. What else? I could burn 2K in 2 days. The table itself can be costly. I got lucky with my table. The first table I built, I pretty much had to buy a handful of 2x4s, and that was it. The table I built for the Polycar track, it is a bunch of plastic tubs as the legs, and I've got some OSB on top of it. But then I expanded it. So yeah, you're right, Jay. The table can cost you some money if you're not careful. But there are some ways to keep that spend down on the table. I would go with OSB, like a 7/16 OSB is plenty for the top, and then I would cover it with some the really low pile carpet or felt. That really helps cut down noise, and it just makes it look nice. I've got black carpet because that's what my original, but I've got green in on the Polycar track, and I think the green looks like a green infield. It looks better. It lets the track pops a little better off that. But Carrera Digital 2 sets, then some R2, R3, R4s. P&W, that's a great. I wouldn't buy a bunch of sets, but 1 or 2 starter sets would be great because it gives you some straights to work with. But just know, like, there's not a lot of straights in a set because most of those tracks are pretty short. But you do get some. The 124 starter sets usually have more track, and they have some borders that come with it. But just know that the 124 and the 132nd sets are really the same track from Carrera. Not really. They are the same track. It just, whether you get 124 scale cars or you get 132nd scale cars. But Ryan's right. You'll end up buying extra turns anyway. And so I have a box of R1 turns that I don't really use that much, because I've got a couple of starter sets. But it is what it is. I would say buy a set and start playing with it and watch slot car videos and then gradually add as you go. Yeah, Jason, that's it. That's good. Um, I will say like a starter set gets pretty small pretty quick if you've got the room. There's a lot of people that don't have much more room than that for their track. And so if that's what you got, that's what you got. But just know that like the starter sets, even that layout is probably going to be at least 8 to 10 feet long, to maybe 10 to 12 feet long, and about 6 feet wide once you set them up like that. If you set them up just like the starter set is made to. Get a free cheap ping pong table on Facebook Marketplace, 5x9, so bigger than a sheet of plywood with legs already on it. Yeah, Daryl, that's a great. Ping pong tables all over the place have slot car tracks on them. Hey, DJ Patrick, you could look for a slot car set someone has to sell. Facebook Marketplace is actually a great place to look. If you're on Facebook, there are some slot car track selling pages. Like in Indiana, there's a guy that's got a bunch of polycar track that I thought he had already sold, and it popped back up again. And dang it, if I didn't need to buy a new espresso machine, I'd probably buy that track just to have it, because I love the polycar track. I really do. It's good. No jumpers, no power loss, all fun. Yep. Ryan's got a great point. The frequently asked sheet for the AMSCO is, hey, Chris, thanks for posting that. I appreciate that. Ron, you can check that out. My email is not in the description. Oh. Gmail.com. I'm not sure why it's not in the description. Okay. Bradley, I was able to buy a Scalextric set in radiuses 2, 3, and 4 20 years ago. The Carrera 160 won't do a 90-degree turn. I had to get a bunch of track pieces. The pit lane track is an obscene price. Yeah. Would love to have a 2-line sticker on my pit box. Yeah, Tycho Matt, send me your information. I just put my email in the chat. If you guys send me your email or your mailing addresses via email, I'll send you a sticker when I get them, which I should have next week. Greg, answer on the wheelbase. Do you want to know them, or if you're asking what's legal? All the Scale Auto GT cars except the HSV. The tires have to visually fit inside the fenders. There you go. That answers both questions. So all GT cars that Scale Auto make, 1/32 scale, except for the HSV, qualify for the race. Southern Yankee says, send me your address, Jerry. I'll send you one. Hey, Chris, thanks for posting that. Appreciate it, man. Richard Whitney. Yeah, Richard, I think you just have to, unfortunately with Polycar, you kind of have to get the track and then play with it at this point, unless you want to spend a little bit of money. And I think the Railroad Modeler app is like $46, something like that. So it's not huge, but I'm kind of tight when it comes to that. That's right. Brilliant. That's the word. What was Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse had the word of the day? Brilliant. And everybody went crazy. Here we go. Ooh, I'm showing my age. There you go. Any rail, that's mostly do railroad stuff, but in the index you can find Polycar down towards the bottom. Yep, that's the other one, Any Rail. And then there's Model Railroader, Railroad Modeler. Well, Marty, I think I have enough Carrera cars now, 14. I tried last light and it kept kept the white Ghost Super tires clean and bright white. Yeah, Chris does a good job. Das says, Merry Christmas. Thanks. Happy New Year. Be safe. I don't know how to do that. Can I just give you my address? Frank, oh, yeah, you can just give me your address, Frank. Michael, I appreciate the info. I'm looking to do digital Carrera, and I have my whole garage to build my set. My wife gave me permission. Nice. Well done, Michael. Yeah, so I would start with so here's what I would do. If you want to do Carrera digital, I would probably buy one Carrera digital set. I would buy the set that has the cars that you like. And then I might buy an Evolution set because that track works to expand the track. And then maybe buy a couple extra, lane changers. The big digital set, I think, gives you the pit lane, maybe. I don't know. I don't think there's a pit lane available in any of the starter sets. I haven't looked at starter sets in a while. I should probably do that. But you might try that. But I'm telling you, if you looked at Facebook Marketplace or the Slot Car Track for Sale Facebook group, slot car tracks come up for sale all the time. And I think you could probably find a good deal on some digital if you're looking. Das, we'll see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. I got a ping pong table tops to go on a pool table for way less than plywood to build my table. I have 8.25 by 4.5 pieces. I have 2.5 by 4 foot, 4.5 pieces. Got it. Bradley, that's great. That's a nice size table. Gary, I have 18 total 132nd scale cars, 14 Carrera and 4 NSR. Need a new box. Got my 70th birthday coming up soon. There you go, Gary. Sounds like you got a new box coming for your birthday. So Gary, you've got NSRs. You've discovered how great those cars are. You already know how good Carrera cars are. You probably need to try like a Revo slot now. You probably need to try a slotted. There's some other great brands of cars out there. A Thunder slot, if you like the older Can-Am style cars. There's some good stuff out there. But I will tell you, like right now, man, my NSR cars are what I'm running on my track. Bradley, don't count your cars. I haven't counted my cars in a while, guys. I'm not going to lie. I do not know where I'm at. P&W, I'll just build you a track. There you go. Send me your new address. I'll send out a sticker. There you go. Deck Knight, I'm in North Glendale with a track in the garage. There you go. So you got people around you. You didn't even know it. Yeah, Ryan just has 1 or 2 track designs. Oh, wait. Over 100 track designs. Jason, you like that? The slot track tour? The 2-line slot track tour. I like that. I like the ring of that. See, I could go out. I could hit Motown. I could hit Electric Dreams. I could grab John Albright for a few days and we'd hit some tracks. What do you think, John? And then I could go up to the Pacific Northwest and catch Alan at 132 slot cars. And then I could swing down into like the Phoenix area and meet up with Kerry and run on his wood track in his dining room. Then I could swing up into Missouri and go see Harry at Home Racing World headquarters. And when I'm out in California, I meet up with Shotgun Dave, and Dave and I and John Albright, whoever else out there wants to join us. We could hit a bunch of tracks together. Maybe this needs to happen. Maybe that's a 2026 goal. New Year's resolution. And then we can go get our butts kicked by Ian, Douglas, and Todd, the spinning pinion guys. And then I could go to North Carolina and meet up with George and race on his tracks. And we can go down and hit Alpine. Is that right? Alpine or Aspen? I always get those wrong. I think it's Alpine. Georgia, Florida. Go see Tom work. and race down there, hit some tracks. I don't know. Where are some other tour stops that the 2026 Two Lines slot track tour? Where do we need to go? Well, you could have replaced it with it's inconceivable. If you know how many cars you have, then you don't have enough. With all the new people joining in, I'm hoping somebody in the Charleston, South Carolina area. I think that in Charleston, you probably have some people close. Probably even in the chat. I got my new P&W sticker. Thanks, Ryan. Richard, thanks, Marty and Dickie. Looks like I'm Google surfing on New Year's Day. Steve Swatell just sent me a text message, and he should just put it in the chat. You should just do a Two Lines Invisible tour. You never need to leave your basement. That's awesome. I'm starting on new track number 7 on Sunday. I built a test today in Softy-Bon. Softy-Bon is great. I love it. That I like, we shall see. Well, Greg, I'm interested. You'll share that in your live stream, right? The building process. I look forward to that. Bradley says, I have 2 sets. When I couldn't make the 90-degree turn, it caused swear words to fly. 2-track pack number 2 on the way now. Have you seen Anthony Ramsey's track? That thing looks awesome. I have not seen Anthony Ramsey's track, I don't think. Is that his name on YouTube or on Facebook? Where would I see that at? Drummer Boy, sawhorses and 2x4s with OSB works good for large table builds. I would agree. You can find some pretty cheap sawhorses out there. Then if you need to move it, it's not too difficult. Does anyone cover their track in an effort to keep dust off? Mine is in the garage, so I get dust trying to possibly create a retractable top. I get dust down here in the basement, just that comes through the hardwood floors, because these are old hardwood floors in this old house. And so I get dust and dirt that comes down onto the track. I keep my track clean, but it's too big for me to try to cover. Bradley's Scaly gets Swiffered. I Swiffer this. Was going to race in Dayton tonight, but I couldn't miss Marty's 2 weeks in a row. Daryl, you need to let me know when you're coming up to Dayton to race. Thursdays is just not working for me this season, and I hate it. But I've had some changes with the worship team at church, and we have practice on Thursdays, and I feel like I can't cancel or bail on practices to go racing. I feel guilty. We suffer for it on Sundays when I do. So it's been hard to miss, and I hate it because I think all the guys at Cincy Slots thinks that I don't like them anymore, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. It's just been impossible to get down there. Ping pong table and marketplace. There you go. Cheap carpet at Home Depot by the square foot. It's pretty reasonable. Greg, I bought mine at Menards, and I think I got it on sale for like 32 cents a square foot. It was pretty cheap. The hobby shop in Dayton. Yep. I had 3 retractable roll-up blinds mounted on the wall, pull out and over the track to keep clean. That's actually a great idea. I will be looking for some track pieces and shoulders to complete my new track, willing to swap and trade. I have a pile of stuff. There you go, Greg. Could throw that out there. I got a bunch of R1 bank turns that I'm not using. Hey, MB Auto Detail. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. I don't run any banks, but thanks, Brad. Yeah, I don't. We took the high bank out. I've got an R3 that's my brother's, sitting here in a box, and I should give that back to him. Do you recommend any websites I can go to and help me design a layout and purchase the track from? There's lots of places to purchase track. Professor Motor has a ton of Carrera track in inventory. I saw it when I was at the warehouse, which was really cool. And then you can buy track from LEB. You can buy track from CarreraSlotCars.com. You can buy track from Electric Dreams, California. Just depends on where you're at in the world. What might be closer and save you some money in shipping, because that's where it'll get you. But some places have free shipping over $100, and that's pretty easy. But sometimes that's no free shipping when it comes to sets. So that's what you would need to look at. John runs rubber. I vacuum regularly. I use a non-scented Swiffer pad with naphtha when it's time to strip the rubber. Rail zip on the rails. Yeah, he has scaly track. What would you guys suggest the setting should be on a 30-volt, 10-amp power supply? 4 racers, 4 ghost cars, 100-foot digital, 132nd plus. I have 5 jumpers. I would still, if you're running 1/32 scale, I would run that at like 14 volts, 14 and a half volts. And then with all those cars, you've got, 10 amps to work with. 100-foot digital. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. With all those jumpers, you've got good connection all over the place. 4 racers, 4 ghost cars. You're running 2 extra cars. You might have to go up to maybe 15 or 16 volts, but I'm not sure. I mean, obviously Carrera wouldn't recommend that, a 1/32 scale, but the 124 scale, you can run 4 cars at 18 volts. I would just play with it and see how it works, but I would say 14 to 15 volts. I wouldn't want to push much further than that. I've never run anything more than 6 cars because I'm not a rule breaker. I'm a rule follower, and Carrera doesn't recommend running more than 6 cars. So, hey Doug, what's up? Gary's looking for a club racing track in Dauphin. Is that how you pronounce that? Pennsylvania. Need an address or phone number. I'm changing my study into my slot car room. I have a 10x6 available. Hope it's big enough to enjoy some acceleration. Yeah, Brandon, I think 10 feet, you're probably going to, with turns, unless you've got R1s on both ends, you're probably going to have about 6 to 7 feet of straight in that 10 feet. So that's my guess. Nice. You were there today. Yeah, they're racing tonight. Yeah, you could go 2 levels. That would definitely stretch the track out a little bit. I don't like too many crossovers because it gets hard to marshal for what I'm doing on my table. But where to get AMSCO stickers? Hank, I got mine from Bud Slots. I think if you went to an event, there'll be stickers available there. I think with registration, you might be able to pick up a sticker. Daryl there sending videos to show me what I'm missing. Hey, guys, if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, Ernest is going to go live. Go check him out. He and Colt running some slot cars. Thanks, Ernest. Bull and Horse or the Race to Victory. I got both. No pit lanes, but the biggest 2 starter sets. Yeah, Ryan. I think I forget what starter set I have. Race to Victory. I might have the Race to Victory. My track and tons of extra pieces will be up for sale in 8 days. That's right. HSF is building wood tracks, I believe, a road course and an oval. So there you go. Brad, you might send Michael a direct message and let him know what you got. Ryan's already on that. Yeah, I believe Brad has posted some video. He went wood routed. Let's see what else. He's calling dibs. I call dibs. Bradley, Racer Sideways, good. Especially if you like Group 5, their GT cars are really, really good too. The Ford GT is a great car. Yes, digital 2 pit lanes and 8 lane changers. There you go. Carrera sets are not metal. All have the same track and no accessories. Jay Leno has 214 cars. I have dangerously close to that many, but I hear his are more valuable. Marty had some Carrera track that he was thinking about selling too. Michael, you might talk to him. I take 100 cars every week and 6 controllers and all the support parts to build cars at the track. JD says he bought 3 sets when I started, 2 with 2.0 wireless controllers. I don't see me getting the $200 trigger finger wireless. I wanted a maintenance station, a primary CU, and a backup. Yeah, that's the nice thing about buying sets is you get a backup CU. Something happens, you short out the track and it burns up your CU. Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. You've got an extra. St. Clair, Michigan. Jay, you're in Galloway. Man, we got some Ohio guys. We need to. Jay, you're gonna have to go to the AMSCO race, man. You're not far. Two Lions Tour has to come to New Hampshire as well. Dickie, yes, New Hampshire would definitely be. I mean, I'd have to come up and see Steve Swatell. I'd have to visit the Slot Car Corner headquarters. I'd have to go race with the host guys, no doubt, for sure. It's going on the list. Maybe that's my next video. Is I will announce the tour list. Maybe I should talk to my wife first. George just texted me. Yes, Marty, you know about burning up control units. Not that I have any experience, but I've burned up a few Carrera chips in my day, which is why I installed the Slot Invasion, the slot speed chip from Slot Invasion. Thanks for the reminder, George. Gary, name a foot deep slot guide for an NSR. Gary, I'm not sure. So you're wanting the wood guide? Let me see. Do I have one? I don't know if I have a wood guide in my NSR parts. Well, I didn't realize I had this many NSR parts. I don't. I don't know what the part number is, but NSR does make a wood guide. The other thing you could do is you could put a slot invasion guide on the NSR. Those work really good on the NSR. All right. I've done a lot of talking. Definitely need to stop in Lancaster, PA. Troy, you are correct. I would have to stop for more than one reason. One, to hang out with you, but I would love to see the theater and take in a show, especially with the new show coming up. Definitely on the tour. Bradley, I'm near Highway 5 when you go from Oregon through NorCal. Thunder Hero Raceway is close by. All right, Bradley. It's on the list. John says we need a luxury tour bus. I mean, John, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this in style. A Prevost. Like, we're not messing around. No Greyhound. It's a Prevost or bust. That's it. Or Airstream, but we'd have to have a big old truck to pull it. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I cover my tracks with old sheets and blankets, and it's a time saver to keeping the track clean. I probably should do that, Doug. That's great. You can probably pick up old sheets pretty easy. I'd need about 10 of them to cover mine. Okay, Jason, the request was from you. All right, thanks, bro. Stay working with the youth, Marty. They need you too. Yeah, PNW, man. Thanks for that, man. I've got some young guys playing in my band at church, and like it's good. I'm super proud of them. I know that it's not perfect sometimes. I try not to be too demanding, but I know that one day they're going to be so much better than I am. So I do enjoy working with the young guys for sure. That's what confessions for. Marty, a deep guide for an NSR car. I race on wood tracks at Keystone Raceway in Harrisburg. Gary, yeah, NSR makes a deep wood guide. And for NSRs, that's a great guide. I don't have the model number in front of me, but if you just look up on any of the sites, like just NSR deep wood guide, you'll get it. And then the slot invasion guides probably work really well on that wood track. I'm thinking green canvas to cover my table. Felt is good for sound, but it is slick on the table surface. Got it. Electric Dream still has a Christmas sale on some slot cars with some great deals. The Santa Claus spirit hit me hard last night. Hey, slot car bro, I did notice that Electric Dreams has a bunch of MR slot cars. You can get a Shadow. If you've wanted a Shadow, you can get the second release of the Shadow for like $39. So if you guys have wanted an MR slot car, and then you can get the new Corvette, the C1, for $59. That surprises me. But all of those cars, like $39 for any of the Jaguars for sale. That's pretty cheap. Hey, Jan, welcome. Electric Dreams does a design service. Ask for Dennis Sampson. Oh, that's cool. You can get Carrera Track. You were asking about Carrera Track. Slot Car Corner. They carry. Do they carry sets? Steve would be able to tell us. 1/32 scale. Do they carry track? Yes. There's track building. 1/32 scale parts. Magnets, parts, weights. You know what? They may not carry track. I don't think they do. But they do have track building supplies for track wiring, track braid. Check them out. I'm excited. Steve, Slot Car Corner. They're going to be, we're going to have Steve on here in January. I need to talk to Steve about that. Steve, let's have a conversation maybe tomorrow if you got some time, so we can work out the details of what we're doing. But I'm excited about Steve and what Slot Car Corner brings to the channel, and we're going to give him some time, on Tuesday nights, periodically to fill us in on all the cool stuff that they've got coming. Really excited about that. The fingers. I laid cardboard down under my Menards AstroTurf, helps deaden the sound. Yeah. My carpet does a great job. My track is pretty quiet because of the carpet, for sure. Any tracks in mid Kentucky? I think the tracks the guys went to this week was in Western Kentucky. I don't remember what town, but there was like 4 really nice wood tracks. So I don't know where you're at in Middle Kentucky, but our friend Steve Holzman is in LaGrange, and he has a phenomenal track. Daryl runs all those guides on his cars. He's talking about the Slotting Plus or Scale Auto. Search ISHR Slot Car Racing and post there for info about our club, one track in Pennsylvania. Nice. KR Bridges, Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. So, gosh, it's 9:30. How did we get here? I haven't talked about a stupid thing. Oh, wait, we've talked about slot cars and a world tour. Now it's become a world tour. John, we're gonna have to get a bigger bus, because we might not be alone. We might have a bunch of guys. I mean, George would probably want to be on that. George, thank you for posting that. That's the Deepwood Guide from NSR. Apollo, Pennsylvania at Tailspin. KR, you'd be happy to know that I wore my Tailspin cap last night on my walk. It was freezing cold. I only lasted like 35 minutes, but the hat kept my ears warm. I appreciate it. Yes, a Tailspin would definitely be on that tour. No jumping on the hog and leaving the driving to the dog. Hey, RMS, I got a Polycar basic set and a few straights and curves, Ninko crossover. So far, a decent single lane rally track. That's a great idea. That's actually RMS. Well done. That's really good. Hey, man. Yeah, glad that's what this chat's all about. If we accomplished anything, we helped Michael spend his $2,000 and gave him lots of advice. He probably is in no better shape. But let's talk about the 2 lines. My vote for the slot car of the year for Home Racing World Slotty. Is that what it's called? Scotty. Slot car of the year. This was close. Now, this car is super special because my good friend Pamela sent this to me. And so I kind of baby this car because it means a lot, because it came from Super Tires, and it was special. It was a gift from she and Todd. And I think this is a great Revo Slot, put out a great car. I can't wait till there's some other cars to race against it. But it's fun. It performs really good. To me, it's a little bigger than the Group 2 cars and runs just a touch better. It's really a really good car. But I kind of baby this one because I don't want to tear it up. But I think that this is right there in the running. I'm really pleased with this. And I don't know that I would have been super happy with this car. I've always liked the RX-7s, but Sean. I felt the same way, Sean. I had pre-ordered it. I was right there with you at first. No sets or track. That's what I thought. Just wood track building. Thanks, Steve. That's why I didn't mention you earlier, because I didn't think you sold sets. I will tell you that like LEB has a ton, and so does Oliver at Professor Motor. And I just know, because I've seen their inventory levels, and I know that they've got a bunch of track. Especially I've been in the warehouse. I mean, he's got rows and rows of Carrera track. But going back to my favorite cars of the year, I really like this Revo slot. I think this was a great addition to their lineup. It was something different. So bravo to Revo. I really love the late model. I just think it's such a great car. I think the guys from 3A3D knocked it out of the park with this one. I mean, let's be honest. The Scirocco, when I get these painted up and on the track in the next couple weeks, if it warms up, I've got the paint here to do that. Those are fun, but man, I just felt like this was a fun proxy race, and it really proved that there are guys out there that want to build 3D printed cars. And George and Dave and Harry are doing awesome things. I appreciate their friendship more than anything, but they nailed it with this car. And I think that for me, I know that Harry doesn't have it in his list of cars for slot car of the year, but this is in my list for top cars of 2025. I think they're great. Check them out. 3A3Dslotcars.com, I believe, is the website. George, Dave, if you guys want to put the link out there, I'm bragging on you guys for a minute. But great car. I just think it needs consideration. I posted a meme that was the distracted boyfriend, and it was me, and the Lola was up front that he's staring at, and his girlfriend is like, oh, and she was the 9083. You guys know I love the 9083. It's one of my favorite slot cars of all time that I own. I always go back to my Elva that Daryl gifted me on our first trip to Cincy Slots. Is my favorite slot car that I own. It's still at the top of that list. I was driving it last night for a minute, and it's still an awesome car. And I love that I got a win with that car. But NSR's Lola, this car, it hasn't seen the track. I just pulled it off the base just to show it tonight. This car is great. I love the look of it. I think it's fantastic. It runs really, really well. The other two that I have run fantastic. I no doubt that this one, once tuned up, won't do the same thing. These are cars that I think are the best cars that were released and started shipping in 2025. I know there are a bunch of other cars that deserve recognition. but this is my personal opinion. So I voted for the Lola, the NSR Lola. I'm just kind of in love with NSR cars right now. Andrea, if you hear me, if you're watching, I know you're not watching, but great job with this car. Those are my top cars. I won't claim a slot car of the year. I just gave you 3 cars that I think are right there towards the top of the list. We will let Harry and Home Racing World announce the slot car of the year. I always look forward to Harry announcing what he thinks was like the most important car for the hobby. And if I look at it that direction, in 2025, this was the most important car for the hobby. Just like the Carrera NASCARs last year, I think were the most important cars for the hobby, even though that they may not have been. I think that was the slot car of the year that won the title. I think it was super important for the hobby to have those cars. I think the hobby grew a lot because Carrera released those NASCAR cars. But I think from a standpoint in 2025, I think this is one of the most important cars. And not just because these guys are my friends, and they mean a lot to me. I just think that this is where slot car and the hobby is going. I think that companies are going to figure out how 3D printing and advanced 3D printing can help them out in making slot car production cheaper overall. And I think that what the 3A3D guys are doing with this is proving that, hey, you can print an entire car, resin print the body, PLA print or whatever, PETG, whatever you're using for the chassis, that you can make a car with 3D printed parts and it will perform great and people will get a lot of enjoyment. And you can make a car that otherwise would never have been made. That's just my 2 cents. And my 2 cents doesn't mean anything other than the fact that I get excited about these cars. So I know that I'm not caught up. It's 9:42. I probably missed some questions. This is a kick. Yeah. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate you. The World Slot Cruise. There we go. We could rent Brad, you got it. We could rent a cruise ship and have us set up a bunch of slot car tracks, just cover the pool or out by the pool, and we could race slot cars. There would be very few women on that cruise. I don't know that we could talk our wives into doing that. But I think that 2027, we'll do the world tour in 2026, and then in 2027, we'll do the cruise, the World Slot Car Cruise Festival. I love it. Me too. I have an extra 101. Yep. Quick slicks for NSRs, super tires. There's all kinds of choices when it comes to tires. All right, guys. Tuesday at Two Lines, where we all enjoy helping you spend your money. Hey, get it right. Better late than never. Yep. You didn't miss much. It was just me rambling. LEB has had my order packed, loaded, and shipped within an hour. Amazing service. And the number 2 track add-on set was sold out at another retailer. Bradley, listen, there's a lot of great companies you can buy slot car parts from. Ain't nobody shipping out faster than Lynn. She is on it. You place an order, Lynn is on it. And I will tell you what, right there with them is Slot Car Corner. But Slot Car Corner did one better. They collaborated with me on some new products. I'm having fun with that. The Invisibraid, now available at slotcarcorner.com. All right. Can-Am, the T220, 222. It's not fantastic. The Lola is brilliant. That's right, Ryan. Both the newer 290s run really well, even a little better than the yellow T280. I'm guessing that, this car probably will run really, really good once I get it tuned up. I was hoping to do that over the holidays, but it didn't happen. Good night, Mark. Oh, Mark is saying good night to Hillbilly. I'm going to wrap things up. I'm 15 minutes over. Thanks, man. George, you deserve it, guys. You guys have worked your tails off trying to provide great stuff. I haven't had good luck with the NSR Lola. Maybe need some help. Sean, definitely, it's not your fastest or even close. Then you probably got something wrong, man. Because it's a fast car. If I can help, let me know. Reach out to me. There's a bunch of other guys that have fast Lolas in the chat as well. It's the 100th anniversary of Route 66. We could tie that in with the tour. That's a dream. I've always wanted to drive Route 66. That's one of my retirement goals. I want to retire young enough that I can actually make that drive. That's my hope. Time to go make a video. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Ryan, for tuning in. I got to go. I'm keeping you guys from the Scotty is your favorite one you bought. That's right. That's exactly right. Two Lines Cruise, just brilliant. There you go. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight, man. I appreciate it. As always, have a great New Year, safe New Year. Be safe tomorrow night. Just be safe and stay home. Don't go out on the road. So many times you hear about bad things that happen because there's just a lot of people out. Sometimes not making great decisions. So make a great decision. Stay home and run your cars on your track. That's probably what I'm going to do, and watch the Ohio State Buckeyes. Go Bucks. Go have fun racing, guys, and have a great, hope you had a great 2025. And here's to the World Tour in 2026. Take care. We'll see you.